Warning! The anime egotists have opinions about stuff and other stuff. Please understand this while watching the video and know that no opinion is a fact, not even yours. So please enjoy the video. Or don't.
I'm Android17, and also Psyche's dad, and you're watching Anime Egotists.
And welcome back to the Anime Egotist, where nobody would use the Dragon Balls to bring us back. We got me, Foster, and I'm joined by the host with the most in the roast.
Oh, God. Williamson.
That is right. And together we are the Anime Egotists. But you're not here to talk about our poorly done introductions, which have been slipping and getting worse and worse. We're here to talk about anime, more specifically anime worlds, because there's a lot of unique, different anime worlds out there. Some of them are great, and that we want to spend a lot of time with.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts. If you watch our channel, you probably know we both like anime, and we both like different types. There's slice of life, there's the shonen, the isekai, all sorts of different things. So there's all these different worlds that have been created by this art form.
Yeah, but on the other hand, there's also the reverse of that. For every anime world that looks awesome and unique and cool, there's, well,
one of these.
Yeah, basically the anime worlds that you could not pay us to live in, that we would probably just snap our necks and be done with it at this point, because there's no point in living in these worlds. So we have for you a list. I don't really have a particular order for mine, like there's no worst to best or anything like that. But first we're going to talk about the anime worlds we would not want to live in. And after that, we'll move on to the anime worlds we want to live in. So if there are any worlds you think we missed, which is obvious because we only have a few for each, just let us know, put it in the comment, and maybe some we skipped, or just put yours in and we can comment on it later.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch. And again, we haven't seen every anime, so if there's some magical world that you love that we just don't mention, it may even be on our list, just not in our top ones right now.
Yes, but I always like to do this. Before we start, I want to give a shout out to our newest subscriber, Wisp2007. I don't have a lot. Normally, I have a joke for the subscriber's name, but I don't really have anything along those lines. But Wisp2007, thank you so much for the subscription. And anything you want to say?
Welcome to the club. Prepare to be very disappointed.
Though, to be fair, if they're part of our fan base, they shouldn't be expecting much to begin with. So, but regardless, we're going to, like I said, we're going to start off first with anime worlds we don't want to live in.
Why don't you go first this time?
Oh, lucky me. Okay, so if you know me, you know I love this game, but I wouldn't want to live in this anime world. God Eater. Like, this place seems miserable. Here's the thing. I'm not taking it as, oh, I'm the main character, so I get all these weapons and abilities and stuff like that. I take it as I'm just some random punk civilian who's probably going to get eaten by giant origami or torn apart by it. It's ridiculous. At least in worlds like Attack on Titan, you kind of know what you're getting into. But with God Eater, there's just so many different monsters of shapes and sizes that are probably going to rip you apart, because and in the anime, they always emphasize, oh, well, we can't save everybody. It's just like, oh, great, so I have to go. Awesome.
Yeah, I seem to remember when you played the game, there were some moral dilemmas in it. Like, okay, who do I save? And then how do I handle doing only the minimum?
Yeah, plus, to be perfectly honest, even if I was on the team, there's a function where if you get knocked out, somebody can revive you. It would get to the point where if I was in charge, I'd be like, okay, dude, we've revived you like 5 times already. Eddie, why are you in charge? I'm just like, I don't know. At this point.
Yeah,
like,
but
I love Romeo, I love Nana, I love Shield, I love all of them, but I couldn't be in that world. I would be letting so many people down, and also just the dismemberment and everything.
Well, this is actually kind of interesting, because you actually mentioned my choice for one of the worlds I hated, which is Attack on Titan.
Oh, dear.
because god damn it, I do not want to get eaten by a giant 50-foot naked man.
But if it was a 40-foot naked man, you'd be okay with it.
No, it's no. Just, and again, I'm kind of going in the same place. I'm not a main character, so I don't get any safety from that. Heck, even the main characters have been eaten before, so
Yeah.
No one is safe in this world. It's like, God, and even if you get the powers to Titan shift and all that, spoiler alert, if you've only watched season 1, I know about a little bit of it. God, no, you're still not safe. So
Yeah, and I've also noticed that there's not a lot of black people in Attack on Titan, so I just assumed they all left. They all just left because they saw the writing on the wall, like, we're gonna get attacked one day, we're just gonna go.
yeah, it's one of those ones I don't think anyone actually wants to live in, because you're not safe. You're gonna get hurt or eaten, or you'll get turned into a Titan, but then you'll die still. So who knows?
Yeah, and based on all the stuff Jabari has told us, Titan, it doesn't seem like it'd be that fun to be a Titan either. They seem miserable.
It seems very painful to have to be a Titan, or a Titan shifter, or whatever they're called.
I mean, I'd rather be in Teen Titans, but that's not an anime, so we couldn't include it on either list, frankly.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we ready to move on to my next one?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to emphasize, out of all the anime on my list, I haven't really seen that much of this anime, but based on everything people have told me, it seems like it's miserable. It's this anime called Another.
Okay. Yes.
So here's the thing. If I die by giant Titan or origami or something like that, I'm going to have a cool story when I get to hell. I'm going to be like, yeah, I just got eaten by this giant monster. What'd you do? Oh, it's like, oh, I ate a burger on a Sunday. I'm like, oh, that's not nearly as cool. Another seems like you're going to die horribly, but not exactly. You're not even dying in a cool fashion. Like some teacher stabbed himself with scissors. Some girl tripped on an umbrella, and I don't even know specifically if that killed her or not. But like, it just seemed like okay. So if you're in the hospital and you said, "Oh, I tripped up my umbrella and stabbed myself," I wouldn't have sympathy. I'd be like, "What the hell's wrong with you? What?" Like this whole anime just seems fixated on killing people in the silliest, dumbest ways imaginable.
Okay, so this is actually on my list as well. I've seen this one all the way through. I watched it with my first roommate, Zach. So it pretty much, spoiler alert, because it's only one season, it's a cursed class in a high school that started back, I don't know, 50 years ago, where someone died, but then like the next year, there was always someone who was dead in the class, and if they don't figure out who, people will keep dying.
Jesus.
So it's a curse. But yeah, I mean, it's got this. I mean, they have a beach episode, and people die on the beach episode. It's like,
I didn't think that was legal.
Yeah. So, and yeah, it's very much like you have no control. You almost can't tell who the dead person is to figure out who actually is causing all these other people to die. So it's not one that you would want to deal with.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun, but you said it was also on your list?
Yeah, I put that one up at number 2 for me on my list just because of what I remember from it. So, but I have an extra one that I'll throw on as my.
Oh, sure, go for it.
So, the next one I have is Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh dear.
I've seen most of the first series, and I've seen scenes from later on. Just the idea of you can be attacked by these people who are ghouls, or you could be transformed because you were had a transplant. All these things can go wrong. Even with the powers, you still can get tortured by all these groups that are fighting for control, I think. It's like, no, I don't want any part of that.
No. Like it sounds like even if you were just even if you weren't completely involved, you're a civilian. You're not going to have a whole lot. You're not going to exactly last for that long unless you become a bigger part of the story. But that's not likely.
Yeah, and again, even the powers sometimes seem like they're torture to have in that anime. So it's like, no, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't last too long there myself. But we're ready to move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, I'm almost I almost don't want to say this because the particular fan base of this anime has been shown to be, let's just say, passionate, very passionate, and the type of stuff they do. And you've seen me watch this anime a couple times, but I'm just gonna come rip the band-aid off and say it. Nisekoi.
I remember you watching it, but I don't remember what that one's about.
Okay, so I guess just a refresher for anybody. We should probably have done this for the other series, but all right. All right, so there's this boy, and he promised a girl when he was really little that they were going to get married, but he doesn't remember anything about her. Seems like he really loved her if he doesn't remember anything. But basically, he goes to school with like a bunch of these other girls and like his one guy friend, because every romance anime has like what, 2-3 guys in it. But it's basically they're trying to figure out, oh, who's the promised girl? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Like it's I don't know. Like if I take it as I go to their high school, I wouldn't want to be friends with these people. Sure, most of them seem nice, but at the same time, it's kind of just like, guys, is there anything else? Do you have anything else in your life beside this promised girl stuff? Like, does anybody play piano, guitar, or want to watch some anime? It's just like, I wonder who I'm supposed to marry. Dude, you're 16. You've got a little bit of time before you're ready for that. And everybody's just so melodramatic about the whole thing, and just I don't know. You know I don't do well with tsunderes, and there's like 2 or 3 in there that I'd have to fight.
I could understand maybe 2, just because that can sometimes be interesting, but if it's 3, then you're getting rid of other characteristics, and of course, a lot of tsunderes, I think, I agree with you, they're tsundere just to be tsundere. That's it. There's no reason for it.
And before anybody gets on me, the problem with tsunderes is not necessarily that they exist. It's the fact that there's little to no comeuppance for anything they do. Like I feel like actually no, I'm not going to say because this another anime that's on my list, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. But I don't know. It just seems very melodramatic. People seem very melodramatic over the silliest things. It doesn't seem that interesting. And the whole time I would just be thinking, hey, Raku, come here. Okay, so let me see if I get this straight. There are 3 girls who are pretty toxic to you. There's one girl who's super nice to you. Yeah, I don't know who I'd pick. Just go. Get out of my face. Shoo.
Oh god. Yeah, I'm not. That's kind of one of the reasons I'm not big into the harem animes or stuff where it's about one guy dating 5 girls or trying to figure out which girl he likes.
Yeah, well, that and it's just not a whole lot. It just doesn't seem like it'd be that fun. It just seems like the normal world, except you're hanging out with a bunch of weirdos.
So us.
Yeah, but we have some redeeming. We don't talk about romance. We talk about a variety of stuff. Anyways, what's your next one? Who's your next?
This is the one that I think is going to kind of surprise you.
Okay.
And that's Dragon Ball Z.
What? Okay.
I'm taking this one on the point of I can't change my species, so I'm automatically a human. I'm not half Saiyan, I'm not full Saiyan, so I'm automatically and I'm not Namekian, so I'm automatically about the most I could ever be is the 5th strongest, and I'd still have to train to get there and all that. Just the fact that we've seen the humans get a little bit stronger in the new series in Super, but by comparison, they just can't keep up with the Saiyans. I mean, that was the whole premise at the end of Z, was that they couldn't keep up anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like, I wasn't even necessarily taking it from that. I was just taking us as just being, if we were regular civilians, we would be screwed. But it almost wouldn't matter because we'd be getting brought back every few months. And they always seem to do the thing where it's like, okay, also erase the memories of everybody brought back. It's just like, so it wouldn't matter in retrospect. But if we couldn't get super strong, then what's the point?
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, like, so you have Master Roshi, Krillin, Tien, Yamcha are kind of like the four strongest humans. Then there's a big gap even after Yamcha to Mr. Saiyan or Mr. Satan, who is like the next actual strongest human. I guess Videl. Videl's somewhere in between, but
Something
like
like that.
there aren't that many strong humans, and it drops to your classic kind of WWE wrestler is the strongest human.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, we could go to the hyperbolic time chamber, and the thing I see is if we get if we could eat as much as we want, and then we could just keep working out, we'd be jacked, we'd be set. But
Yeah,
I see what you mean, though. I love Dragon Ball Z, but it seems like that world it wouldn't be the most fun to hang out in.
yeah, and as you kind of mentioned earlier, then if you're just a regular civilian, you're constantly dealing with uh, threats to destroy the world. I mean, there have been multiple alien invasions, multiple demons, multiple android attacks, multiple monster attacks. It's
The
like,
planet's blown up like 3 different times at this point.
so yeah, it's just not worth trying to live there.
Okay, so my next one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this one's going to be a little bit out there, but speaking of WWE and wrestling, my next one is want to be the strongest in the world. Now, if you know me well enough, you guys know I'm a wrestling fan, and I don't really care about what company it is. I'll just watch it regardless. But this is like the thing about wrestling is it's supposed to be entertaining, but this is too much. Like there are panty shots and boob shots and everything. It doesn't add to the wrestling for me. I just be like, what? Like, why are we watching this? Can we watch something? Can we watch like American wrestling? It's just like, no, this is the only thing that's on. I'm like, seriously, this is it. This is all we have to focus on. Just a bunch of lewd style of wrestling. Because if you know me well enough, you also know like I don't. When it comes to like stuff like women's wrestling, I don't really care who looks the best. I'm just like, okay, are you good enough? Can you wrestle? Can you get me invested? And the way the shots are framed and everything, and how the wrestling goes, it's just it feels borderline uncomfortable, especially considering these girls are like what 16, 17. It's a little odd.
Yeah, having lived with you for a while and watched wrestling with you, I can see what you mean because I remember when I first started, it was still the divas in the WWE, so it was very much who's most attractive would probably win the match or something, and then there was stuff like that. They were starting to get rid of that and go into the more there are women who are wrestling and actually trying to win the matches as the last year or so when I was watching with you.
Right. Not only that, but it also just seems like it's the only wrestling around. Like, I'm like, are there no other companies? WWE, New Japan, Stardom. Where's everybody else? Like, did they monopolize wrestling? Are they the only company left in the world?
Who knows?
Yeah, and I know it's not like I said, it's not like super fantasy like or like deadly or anything, but it also just comes down to, would I be willing to live in this world for a long period of time, even if I was to survive? And the answer is just no.
Yeah, I kind of understand.
Okay. What's your next anime world that you would never want to live in?
This is the one of Death Note. because
Yeah.
and there's two different versions. One where I have the Death Note. I have a feeling I would turn out like Light. I'd go insane and try to kill anyone I didn't think was worth keeping alive.
It's a
Or
good thing
two,
you
I
did.
would be one of those that was killed early on by the person who had the Death Note.
It's a good thing I never told you my real name, because you would have written my name instantly.
Yeah.
No, but Death Note, it seems horrible. There's some asshole running around writing people's names and notebooks and everything. Doesn't it doesn't even seem like it'd be that fun to live in. Even if you had the Death Note, you're just killing people off, and eventually it just gets to the point of like, what am I doing?
From what I remember when I watched part of the anime, I remember that the world is actually kind of fucked up. Like there's a lot. Now again, I guess our world's kind of starting to get to that point.
I was
So
about to say, it's 2020, dude. I think we're living Death Note.
But yeah, there was just a lot of fucked up things that happened in that one. So it's like, yeah, no, I'm good.
I'm good with the whole death by notebook thing. Plus, like most people just died of heart attacks or something like that, and that's
going to happen eventually anyway for me. So who knows?
I was about to say, that's just unpleasant. Why do it by Death Note when I could just go to Five Guys? It's expensive, but it's worth it. Please sponsor us, Five Guys. But anyways, my next anime,
Go ahead.
Konosuba. Now, I haven't seen a whole lot of Konosuba, but it doesn't seem like it'd be a very fun place to live. Like, you see, in order to get to the world, like, people seem to die in like the most ridiculous way. Is like you get hit by a car, but you didn't have to. It was super embarrassing. Nobody really cared that you died, so gotta carry that with me. Also, I don't really want to hang out with Aqua, Darkness. Like Aqua's just kind of stupid, and Darkness is way too perverted for my taste. Like, it's just weird because not a whole lot seems to happen, and like in the end, it's just like, oh, we're all back to normal. This is just an everyday thing for me. But like, no, I couldn't do this. It's just like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a place that I'd want to live in long term, just because the characters are kind of. I understand that they're entertaining characters, but they're not people I'd ever want to be friends with.
Yeah, that's one of those isekai that the world is. A lot of them are very similar. You die and are reincarnated, but that one I can understand. It's very much. Well, everything seems kind of fucked, or at least the characters are kind of fucked up to deal with in person.
Yeah, it especially sucks for Darkness's case, because if I treat her like crap, I'm just like, okay, just get Darkness, just get away from me. She gets turned on by that, and I can't have that. It's just, go away. Say it again. I'm like, go away? Yeah, that's it. I'm just like, next anime.
All right. So my last one for Wooden is Future Diary.
Okay.
From what I've seen of it, and I haven't seen all of it, everyone's battling to become the new god or whatever and create the world how they want it to be, but you still have to kill other people and fight for it, and of course then you can have other people interfere from other tournaments similar, and it's just like, and of course there's batshit crazy people.
Yeah, scares me, dude.
So yeah, I don't want to interact with anyone there, and I don't want to just there's no.
Yeah, it seems like there are a lot of anime where it's like, okay, you can all get this special thing you want. All you have to do is kill everybody. It's just like, that seems to work out so well in every other anime, so let's keep doing that. It's not going to backfire. Somebody needs to make a spoof, like, comedic parody of that sort of anime. Somebody needs to get on that.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. I mean, it's very similar to. Well, Zatch Bell had a similar premise, except for it was battling with another life form. I think Tower of God had something similar.
I need to check that show out.
There's just several that are like, but they all seem. I don't know if I've ever seen one that doesn't take itself seriously.
Yeah, so hey, we could get started on that. We could hire some voice actors, you, me, Ragland. We could get that done.
Do you have any more of worlds that you don't want to live in?
Honestly, no. I tried to keep it to about 5 or 6, but that's all the ones I don't want to live in.
So yeah, it seems like a lot of ours are either the characters are really not people you would want to hang out with, or the powers, even if you were to get the powers, you're not going to be the strongest, or you're going to constantly be killed, even though.
Or it's just boring. And
Yeah.
like it's like if I'm hanging out with like I talked about Nisekoi early, if I'm hanging out with the group and the main character Raku and the main tsundere Chitsuge, if they're arguing, I'm just like, okay, guys, I'm gonna stop you right there. Nobody cares about your problems. You guys aren't really dating. We know that. The whole world knows that by this point, because you treat each other like crap. So here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk to your parents. They're gonna settle this. You guys are gonna break up and just move on with your lives because I'm sick of this. And everybody would be like, "What's wrong with him?" I'm just like, "I'm moving the plot along. I'm moving the plot along. We're keeping you guys to one season." They're gonna be like, "Season? What's he talking about? Jesus Christ!" You're gonna have to come pick me up because I'm gonna be so upset.
Somehow I have a feeling that if you were to interfere, it would end up like How I Met Your Mother's final season.
Oh God! You think I would make it worse?
Somehow, like you would just delay the inevitable of it. I'm guessing the Tsundere and the main character are supposed to get together in the end of the first season, but then you interfere and force and get them together with the better female lead. She's gonna die or something, and then he's gonna run back to the Tsundere afterwards and hold up a blue trumpet and go, "Hey, let's go out now." It's like
I would never let Onodera die. I could. She's one of the few nice people in anime that I would never pick on. Mainly just because, like, I just can't. But anyways, we've gotten all the sad, bad stuff out of the way. So let's talk about the stuff we really want to talk about. The anime worlds that we would love to live in. So I started first for, hey, let's see what you got for the anime that you would love to live in.
all right, so the lowest one I have on my top 5. This one, how to put it? Only if I could avoid certain aspects, and that's Sword Art Online.
Okay, you're gonna have to do the majority of the talking for this one.
Okay. I don't want to be part of like the season 1 or stuff. I want to be in the world that's the real world there more, where they've got these VR helmets, so you're in the video game. You don't feel pain when you die, but you still get you're wielding the sword, and you have all these. You can have all different adventures. I mean, there's fantasy, there's gun games. I mean, I'm sure there's sci-fi games. So there's, all these worlds. Heck, you could visit probably if we were to eventually get to that level of technology. That would be we would probably live these games.
Oh, that would be great.
Because there's no consequences. Although, again, if I'm part of the actual plot of season 1 where I get stuck in a video game, and if I die in real life, then okay, then maybe not wanting to stay in this world. That's kind of why this one's at number 5. It's situational.
I can understand that. Yeah, I can, like, based on the very, very little I know of the anime, it seems like there'd be some pretty cool adventures to be had in the games and stuff like that.
Yeah, and just because if you're just being able to use the VR headsets to visit a whole bunch of different worlds. I actually do like VR now, but I want this or the Ready Player One version. I want to be in the video game and actually know, like, when I move or when I think I'm moving in the video game and getting to interact.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I can subscribe to that. And you brought up technology, which moves me on to my
Okay.
anime world that I'd love to live in, Gintama. Now, for those of you who know Gintama, this would be a little surprising because aliens have taken over. They've kind of enslaved us, but not completely. On the other hand, though, technology has improved to the point where robots, giant machinery, and all this other sort of stuff, it's just normal. Like, nobody really seems to bat an eye about it. So technology would be incredible, a lot better than what we have right now. Well, despite the characters being completely insane sometimes, I feel like they're just likable enough that I wouldn't completely lose my mind. But but then again, if somebody tried to put mayo on all of my food, I'd be super, super pissed about that. Although I'm pretty sure Reese would be completely on board with it. But regardless, honestly, and just learning to be, and just deciding, should I be a samurai? Should I be like a guns person, or whatever? And considering all the fourth wall jokes and anime references, I can pretty much do whatever I want. There are people who have done kamehamehas in Gintama and stuff like that. So I'd be set. I'd be perfectly entertained.
Yeah, that one seems one of those worlds that's just like, if you can think it up and make it funny, you can do it. And I guess there are some serious moments from other scenes I've seen, so, but for the most part, when you're trying to test out a power, you have to make it comedic.
Right. Hey, and that's just enough. That's the other thing. Like, just the sheer amounts of imagination would help. I mean, one of the characters turned black one episode. I'd say it makes sense when you watch it, but it doesn't really. It doesn't really. It doesn't really. But regardless, Gintama would be. It's on my list. Like I said, no particular order, but it's on my list.
All right. So this next one, I really have struggled to place it. It's kind of two that and they're two that might be, well, one that might be on your list and the other just because it's similar.
Okay.
And I'm splitting it between Naruto and Fairy Tail. Now, both have big issues that they have.
Neither of those are on my list, actually.
Huh? No, neither?
Are on my list.
Okay. What? Just the idea, because it's very much that you learn. I mean, again, some people like Rock Lee can't do ninjutsu, or genjutsu, but he's proof that you don't have to master that. So there's just a whole bunch of different things, like having to train and then getting the powers. Again, there's still world-ending events, but both have very much, once you've got a power that is yours, you pretty much grow and improve that. So I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I could definitely be okay with living in the Naruto world. My one question is, in terms of where you would want to live, what time period would it be? Would it be Naruto, Shippuden, Boruto, or did you not think about that? Or just any?
Really didn't think much about it, because there are aspects of each one that are interesting. I guess if I had to pick, maybe between Kakashi's generation and Naruto's generation sometime is when I become a ninja. So that way I'm already, I could be a background character fighting in the ninja war, but then not be stuck being part of all of these main stories. I mean, I still care about issues, but
I would have thought you would have said right after Shippuden, because that's where everything just slows down and we have nothing to do until Boruto, which, yeah, Boruto.
Even then, I don't know how many. Unfortunately, I stopped watching, so I don't know what's happened since, like, I don't know, like their fourth mission after actually becoming ninja. So.
Oh, you made it, brother! You made it further than me. But anyways, you also said you had Fairy Tail.
Fairy Tail, I'd probably pick after the series, just because there's a bit more peace. But then there's a chance. I mean, there's always stuff going wrong there. There's always different things. So, and again, it's very similar in the power. I mean, it's magic versus jutsu, but again, you have to train to grow in power and stuff. So there's definitely differences.
Yeah, I guess my one thing, and I've given you crap about Fairy Tail, but in all honesty, I have no real issue with. No, the only real issue I seem to have with it is just based off what I've seen. There's a lot of fan service moments. It's am I wrong on that?
No, because they have something called Wizard Weekly, or I don't remember what the actual name is, but it's pretty much like Maxim or Playboy. They always seem to it has articles in it, but then they have this week's model, and there's like 4 characters that are either main or uh, play an important part in certain arcs that are like models for it, and it's like, yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of fan service.
Okay, but other than that, I know very, very little about Fairy Tail, so I can't say a hard yes or no to it. But it might be fine. Who knows? But speaking of magic, I guess we should get to the anime world I'd want to live in. Black Clover. Look, even if we're like Asta, we don't necessarily get magic. That wouldn't completely stop us from getting grimoires and everything. Plus, a lot of the dungeons themselves seem super cool, and we could get power-ups and other sort of stuff. And frankly, people in Black Clover, if you're, well, I'm not gonna talk too much about the manga, mainly because I'm just not caught up yet. But it seems like people don't really die nearly as much as you think they would. Like, so I feel like we'd be fine in that aspect. Like, I don't know. Like, me personally, once I get my grimoire, I would voluntarily choose. I'm joining the Black Bulls. Don't care how low on the totem pole they are. I'm joining them. And it just seems like it would be fun just in terms of training and everything. The food seems good. Nothing seems outrageously expensive if people are able. And plus, everybody gets paid by missions, so you're pretty much set for life.
I can understand Black Clover. Again, I kind of like it. Yeah, I agree with you. It's an interesting world, and again, when it comes to death, I agree as well, because I remember God, what's his name, the captain of the uh, Crimson Lionhearts.
That's Fuego
Uh,
Leon.
yeah, it's like, yeah, he's supposed to be dead because even his grimoire was going away.
Yeah, that was freaky when we first saw that because spoiler alert, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He teleports back. It's like, oh, he's back, and then we just see him missing an arm. I'm like, oh, that's not good. Somebody help this man.
And that scene actually reminded me and got me to continue watching for a while because it reminded me of Zatch Bell. It's like, because I mean, his book is literally burning away as he's dying, and that's what happens in Zatch Bell when the Momotos are being lose a battle. Is that their books start to burn? It's like, oh God, I connected those two for me for a while.
Yeah, I can certainly. There are certainly some similarities. But I'd say it'd be a pretty fun world to live in. Not every single character would be my favorite, but overall, I think I'd make nice with enough people to where it wouldn't matter.
Specifically, Gordon.
Of course, duh. He just wants somebody to make sure he's not forgotten, and I would never forget him ever. But also, I would be cool with Yami because I would never interrupt him while he's taking a dump. It's just that simple.
Why do I have a feeling that you would try to be Gordon's best friend, and at first he would really like it, and then somehow he'd start hating you?
Wow! You never have faith in me when it comes to these anime worlds. I'm starting to notice that.
Like it would be like the exact like he'd be quiet and like his normal self, but trying to be friends with everybody else, and you just like walk up, "What's up, best buddy?"
I would
Like,
not. I would.
Team 4-star. You'd be Team 4-star Goku to him, and he'd somehow turn into Vegeta.
I would never do. I would never do that. Now there are some Black Bulls members that I don't think would like me. Like Ghost wouldn't like me because I worship his little sister or whatever. Zora wouldn't like me just because I don't know. He just seems like he's above it. Nero wouldn't like. She would probably hate my guts, and I'd just be like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We're on the same team. We know we'll cover each other when we have to, but we don't have to be the best of friends. We're cool with that.
Okay.
But other than that, I feel like Finral and I would get along. Magna and I'd be cool. Vanessa, as long as she was wearing clothes, I guess it'd be fine. And basically that. So, what's your next anime?
My next one is Food Wars or Shokugeki no Soma. There are, again, kind of two aspects to this. I'd either want to, because I actually really like to cook. Again, I never got a chance because I didn't feel like having to contact people to get them to open the kitchen for me when we were in college, so I never decided to cook. So I'd love to be able to learn to cook some of the dishes. I mean, it's amazing what they do in that anime. I mean, how much it makes you hungry just to watch it.
Yeah, but I don't want my clothes I don't want to have vinegar strokes every time I eat. That'd be how would you cover for that though?
It might be worth it if the food is that good. I mean, if the food is that good, I have to give it to them. But and again, the other half would be just to be a judge, getting a chance to eat all the really good food.
Now, because I've sort of brought this up, like, are there any characters you'd feel like you'd get along with, or like you'd just be cool with, or would you just ignore everybody and do your own thing?
I think most of the main cast I'd be able to get along with. They're all cool as long as I don't try to destroy them. I think we'd get along fine as long as I'm trying to, especially if I'm trying to become my own chef and perfect my own type of cooking, then we'd all get along. I mean, that's the whole thing is that when they're competing, it's very competitive, but then when they're just sitting around, they taste test each other's foods. Hey, this is something that you might want to try doing, and I really like that.
Yeah, I guess I would be fine with that in some senses, but I'm glad, in hindsight though, I'm glad you didn't have those abilities in college. Things would have gotten weirder than they already did when we were all rooming together. It would have, yeah. Okay, so my next anime, or is that everything?
No, that's everything. Again, two different aspects, either getting to eat all the best food or learning to prepare all the best food. Either way, I would want to do it.
Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit out of the ordinary. I doubt you've ever seen this anime. Chobits.
I remember the name, don't know what it's about.
Okay, so basically, it doesn't seem like it's that far in the future. The only thing that's kind of out of the ordinary is people have these things called persicoms, which are basically robots that look exactly like humans. The only difference is like they have these big ear things. But just imagine how cool it would be to have just your own personal robot computer thing following you around. So it's just like, hey, make a note of this. Hey, do any of this. You wouldn't even need a cell phone anymore. You'd be covered on just about everything. Not to mention a lot of pretty much every single character, with the exception of like one or two people, everybody's nice. Everybody's relatively normal. Oh, and there's like a town genius that everybody goes to, and he pretty much takes care of everything you need in terms of your persicom for absolutely free. So pretty much free tech stuff. Everybody seems cool. Just it would be cool. It would be fun.
You actually just gave me one that I'm going to put as an honorable mention later on. So I'll go over it after my second to last one.
Yeah, the only thing that you seem to have to worry about in the anime is like, are you gonna fall in love with your person? I'm like, no, not really. Like, oh well, you should be good. And now I'm gonna be thinking, shit. Now I'm thinking about that.
Oh God, it's one of those things. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you one specific detail about the main person, Chi. I'm not gonna tell you the one little detail about her. But other than that, it seems like it'd be a pretty chill place to hang.
All right. All right. So my second to last one that's actually in my top kind of five, and this will come as no surprise from anyone, and that's the Pokemon world. I think you'll
Yeah.
quite readily agree that it would, even with the monsters that are constantly almost destroying the world, it's still worth attempting to live in that world.
Especially even if you're a Pokemon, it seems like it'd be a lot of fun. You could you could pretty much do whatever the hell you want.
But I mean, being the idea of being a trainer, you don't need any special powers. And again, one thing I like about the anime is you don't have to have the strongest Pokemon to succeed. It does help because we've seen that happen before when Ash loses to the guy who has like nothing but legendaries.
Right. Oh, jeez, yeah.
But we've seen people who have, I mean, Ash has won battles with Bulbasaur, a level 1 starter Pokemon, so it's definitely not its strongest point. Again, it doesn't want to evolve and all this different things, but it's very much. I think I like a combination. So you get because there's a bit more understanding from the games, but then the anime you still can use your favorite Pokemon.
Yeah, not only that, but you don't even have to be married to the idea of like being like the greatest battler ever. You could just do whatever the hell you want. You could be like you could be a champion, you could be a coordinator, a showcase performer, whatever the hell that is, or just do your own thing. That's the thing I would like because if people know us well enough. You love Generation 2, I love Generation 3. We don't even have to be Gold or Ethan or Brendan specifically.
Yeah.
Even if they would put us there, it's just which they'd actually be putting game characters in the anime, which is something they should have been doing a long time ago. But that's another point for another day. But it would
we've already covered it.
We've beaten that to the ground so much. It's not worth it anymore. But like we could get there, and in the anime, money seems very like people seem to do whatever they want if they have a little money or whether a lot. So the second we get there, you go to Johto, I go to Hoenn, we do our own thing, we meet up at some point, and we just go wherever.
Yeah, there's so much to do, so much to see. I mean, it's a franchise that even it's not going to end anytime soon because I'm sure especially since it's got its own company now, if Game Freak was to ever go under or Nintendo was to ever go under, they would instantly be able to jump to PlayStation, Xbox, or whatever new company was out and the fans would be like, fine, whatever, buy the new console and start playing because it's a Pokemon game. They always end up doing like, I think Sword and Shield are the best-selling Pokemon games already.
They're I don't know if they're the best selling, but they were up there alarmingly fast. But Pokemon on Xbox and on PlayStation, that might be a completely different video topic we might have to touch on at some point. But we're still figuring it out. We're still figuring it out.
But to go back to, I mean, again, as Alex said, there's so much to do. There's I don't know. There's so much that is an option with the Pokemon world that.
I would spoil my Pokemon. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like I would just be like, oh, so hey, your trainer's super abusive. Oh, well, congrats. You're with me. You're with me now. Have some chocolate. Which apparently some Pokemon can eat chocolate like it's nothing. So it's not a safety precaution or anything.
Besides a few trainers that we haven't seen very many of in a long time. I mean, there's the fighting trainers that you see, but then you get just the random guy who, like, it's a 10-year-old kid and he abandons his Pokemon only to come back when it learns something strong. It's like, nope, punch you in the face. This Pokemon's coming with me now.
No, this Sableye is mine, and it just gnaws on my hand. I'm just like, it might have bit me, but I'm still treating it better than you. So no, go away. But Pokemon, that's the obvious thing. I can't think of too many people who would say, no, I don't want to live in Pokemon, so I think we can move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to get my obvious one out of the way, and I will take the beating for this because it's 2 anime, and they're pretty, but I can pretty much just combine them. Excuse me. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds and Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. First of all, let's get for GX. Just imagine you wake up one day, we just decide, like we all room together, and we get up every morning and go to class and learn how to play card games. That sounds incredible.
So I'm going to take it a little bit different because from what I've read, Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh GX, and Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds are all the same world. It's all the animes after that take place in either new worlds or might be connected between them, but those 3 are the same worlds, and they've actually proven that by interacting before. So
sworn 5Ds was in a slightly different, like a post-apocalyptic alternate future, but whatever. Regardless, you can't tell me you wouldn't be a little excited for me to wake up and be like, dude, we got to get to card game class. Come on.
Yeah, if there was an actual way, I know there are some people who make a living on it, but it would be interesting to live in a world where that was how everybody could make a living.
Jabari would get so sick of it because he doesn't know he doesn't know the rules. We could learn the rules, and more importantly, in 5Ds, I could get a motorcycle, and we could play card games. We'd be playing card games on motorcycles every single day for the rest of our lives until we die horrifically by distracted driving because we're playing card games on motorcycles. Nobody thought that. Jeez, did nobody think that through?
It also doesn't help that most of the crafts that I remember seeing have their wheel goes completely around the thing. So, or there's several that do that. So you've got like a tire that's the size of my laptop, about 1.5 feet, that sits right in front of you as you're driving.
Good God. Hopefully they add they're going to need to add some autopilot function for me because I would be dead so fast if it's just like I summon.
I hit a kid.
Just be like, so did I win?
Yes, congratulations. You get to go to jail now.
Yeah, but it's still not only that, but just the technology in Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of fascinating. Like we have holograms of monsters and everything. Like the technology is pretty. It's fair game.
Yeah, I always was. That was one of those things as a kid I was always fascinated about. I was like, oh, I really hope this becomes a thing where you can set something down and an almost realistic version pops up in front of you and gets to see.
Apparently, they are trying very, very hard to make it happen. And the second it does, I'm dropping everything.
Yeah, because I mean, that kind of goes back to the same VR thing I was talking about earlier with Sword Art, where getting to see these massive creatures in real, and pretty much for them to be real. I mean, it's the same thing I felt when I first watched Star Trek with the holodecks. I mean, all this technology where things that aren't real can become real almost.
Yeah, and in terms of money, we could just win several card game tournaments and we just retire, and then just go on and do whatever the hell we want.
But and again, it'd be cool to have your own signature monster.
Yeah, of course. And considering everybody in the anime has that, yet we've never gotten that for the video games. We would be good on that. So, what's your next what's your next anime?
So the one I thought of that I wanted to just mention as an honorable mention, it sprung from the one you were talking about where everybody has their own robot thing.
Yeah, their own Persicom, Chobits. Okay.
Yeah, and that was Mega Man NT Warrior.
Okay.
I both loved the video games and loved the anime as a kid, and I remember and looking back on it, and I did research years ago about it. There are like 4 series that never aired in English from it because it actually has it goes through all the game arcs in the anime, but we never got the final 4 arcs. So I wish that they had finished that, but I really like the whole getting to net battle and something, and I mean an AI that's able to completely communicate with you.
Yeah, that would be cool. The whole Mega Man series has been kind of dormant over the past several years, but I do remember really enjoying the series as a kid, whether it was Mega Man X or just the regular Mega Man games. I could see myself wanting to live there, or only. And plus, if it's something like, oh no, the oven seems to be my mom's like, oh no, the oven seems to be broken. Mom, I got this. Go. And just fix it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Then again, I've played a little bit of the classic Mega Man stuff, and but I specifically know about uh, the Battle Network games and all that, so that's the one I would want.
Okay, yeah. I can go. Like, so if that's your, would you say that was your honorable mention?
Yeah, that one kind of came out because I completely forgot that one existed, but so I can't really consider it as part of mine.
Okay, I do have, and I do. If that's the case, I have an honorable mention. But this one is, I will completely take the beating for this because it's not that interesting of a world. But I want to. Have you heard of the anime Watamote?
Again, I've heard of it, but don't know what it's about.
It's the anime about the girl whose whole life is just a giant cringe fest, that sort of thing.
Oh, okay, yes. That she's like 2 feet tall in the anime where the rest of the characters are all full height and stuff, and
Yeah,
she has like the dark circles and stuff.
yeah. Like I would
Okay.
like I feel like it's not even necessarily that the world's that interesting. I would just walk up to Tomoko and just give her a hug and just be like, you are gonna be good. I promise you are going to be okay. You're gonna have friends. You're gonna have a good life. Just you're gonna be good. Like I know that's not the most interesting world to live in, but it's just I just feel so bad for her sometimes. Like it's kind of a mess.
Yeah, I can understand that. I, from what I remember of her, yeah, I can agree that it would be nice to be able to say, hey, it gets better. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does, but try to help her.
It's just like, hey, chin up. If you want it, and I would even say, hey, there are a lot. You have a lot of fans, and she'd be like, what? I'm like, was I not supposed to say that? And someone's just like, no, you weren't. Now she knows. I'm like, well, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. There are people that care about you. Get through this, and there will be good times on the way. Just something like that, because I feel so bad for her.
Yeah. All right. So, do you have one more that's your actual final one as well?
Yes, I do have a final one.
Okay.
And once again, like I said, this isn't in any order, but I just said Soul Eater. Like, even if you don't go to the academy and stuff like that, it's just such a cool looking world to live in. The moon has a weird looking face. The sun has a weird looking face, and if you did go to the academy, like you'd be pretty well off. Everybody gets like their own person that's a weapon, or you're a weapon yourself. That seems like it'd be pretty cool. But I just feel like we get along with everybody. Like if we were in Soul Eater, I feel like we get along pretty well with everybody.
Yeah, the only person that I think might get annoying is oh god, what's his name?
Black Star.
Yes. Just because I have a feeling like okay, you get assigned a mission and it's supposed to be stealth, and we would either have to use him as a distraction because he wouldn't keep quiet, or he would spoil everything on the mission. Like jump down and it's like okay, kill this person and get their soul, and he's standing on the table already.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. Like on the other hand, Black Star's like an odd. Like I can understand he's a good character. It's just he's just so much sometimes. He's a little too much sometimes. But I honestly thought you were gonna say Liz, Patty, and Death because Patty's fucking mental. She is like she's too happy for me sometimes, which honestly makes me a little scared of her. But I feel like her and I would get along. We would have a weird relationship, but we'd be fine. Liz, she's completely normal. We'd get along. Death would be a little bit of an issue because we'd all be teaming up. It's like, all right. Here's what we're gonna do. You guys are gonna shoot and we're gonna And Williamson and I'm going to turn into his special bladed nunchucks, and we're going to take him out. That, by the way, that's our weapon thing. I'm bladed nunchucks for you.
Okay.
With a little scythe on the end of it. Okay. And he'd be like, wait. I'm like, what? What is it? You thought of another plan? That table isn't symmetrical. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Oh God, yeah. It's one of those. Yeah, the world is interesting enough to make up for a lot of the character flaws, I guess is the right term.
That'd be. I feel like we would get along with our classmates relatively well.
All right. I think the last one is mine now, and you're probably not going to be surprised, but you still probably won't be able to talk about it, and that's My Hero Academia.
Oh, Jesus. Wake me when this is done.
I just like how different all the powers can be. I mean, there's all these different, people, there's a frog girl. There's a guy who's literally a dog. There's actually multiple people who are like that. People who have the ability to shoot like 4 miles away because they have perfect accuracy. A guy who can neutralize powers. A guy who has a tail who fights. Powers that make you super strong. So there's such a variety of stuff in this world. Again, I know, spoiler alert, if you're only watching the anime, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, there's some fucked up stuff that's going to happen in the next, especially going on in the manga. And again, no one is completely safe, but if you were able to go to this world and have powers, and you don't have to be the number 1 hero, but you could be a top 5 or something, I think that would be really cool. And
yeah, I could understand. I could understand that to some extent. The powers seem cool to an extent. The powers seem cool. The anime, like I could understand that to an extent. I can't speak too much to it, but I can understand that. My only issue with living there would be, since if I was in the world of the anime, I would technically be a character, and I'm horrified to know. And every anime has good parts of the fan base and bad parts of the fan base, obviously. But the My Hero fan base, I feel like they would say some stuff or do some stuff to me that I just would not be a fan of. I don't know about that.
Yeah, people keep forgetting that these are like 14-year-old kids.
Yeah, and the whole time they'd be like, "Oh, Foster's so much stronger than Luck from Black Clover." I'm like, "Why are you saying that stuff? Like like me and him are hanging out next week. Why you gotta pit us against each other?"
Yeah, well, I was going more for the fact that there are a lot of fan arts for My Hero Academia just because it's so popular.
That's a very way of putting it.
That, yeah, so I mean, and this isn't just like the female characters or anything. I mean, every character has probably been put with the same person, and even characters like they've got some little kids in certain arcs that I think have had it happen as well. And it's like, no, these are kids.
Well, that also works for Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. Want to be the strongest in the world pretty much does it to itself. But at the same time, that's just about every anime when you really start to think about it. We would just be some.
Someone would like you enough to draw you in very, very inappropriate ways.
Yeah, and the more innocent we seem, the faster it's going to happen. So, plus, not only that, but people would just keep putting you with other characters. So it's just like, oh man, I ship Williamson and Liz from Soul Eater. I'm just like, okay, sure, why not? There's nothing to stop you at this point.
But yeah, when it comes to the characters, there are definitely those that I wouldn't get along with, but that's just life. That's one of the things I like about it, is that there are characters that obviously I wouldn't get along with, but then others that I think I'd get along with, like Kamini Wood. I like him. I think he's only in like a handful of episodes, and it's supposed to be his big moment is like in the first scene, and it gets stolen from him. It's like, dude, pick yourself up, there's a bank robbery over there. Go handle it.
What about the bird guy? Like,
Fox?
doesn't he have like a catchphrase or something? Would you get sick of that?
Oh, well, there's a whole bunch of different bird guys.
The bird guy, I don't know his flippin' name, but I know his catchphrase is like revelry in the dark or some crap.
Oh God, yeah. Okay, yeah. Then it's Tokoyami. I could get along with him. So even being a kid in the class with them, I could get along. Class 1B, I'd probably end up punching the guy who, I can't remember his name now, but the guy who pretty much hates the main character's class.
Okay. Yeah. Plus, you could say you were in My Hero before Jogger Joe ever was, so that's always a plus. Anyway, okay. I think we have like that. I actually like that video, just that conversation a little more compared to most of the videos we've done. We talked about some animes that we love, that we wouldn't want to live in. We talked about some anime that we were kind of okay with, that we'd be perfectly okay living in. I don't think we ever talked about anime that we hated, absolutely hated, but we'd be like, yeah, I'd want to live here.
Yeah, I just think that I'm trying to think if there's a world that I can think of from an anime that I hated that was still worth going to, and I really can't.
Plus, we just don't talk about anime we hate all that much. But overall, like I said, let us know. Oh, what did you like our list? Like, whose list did you follow more? My crappy list or Williamson's slightly more crappy list? Which one?
And again, if we forgot an anime that you say,
which we know we did,
yeah, that you would love to live in, let us know where you would want to live,
or where you wouldn't want to live in, and
yeah,
like, make it a little interesting, because I tried to be a little different with mine. I didn't want to just do, oh well, this fantasy anime or this horror anime. I added some variety in there. I added some variety with that.
I tried to. In the end, I think more of my want tos had more less fantasy, because Sword Art is video games and Food Wars is creating food.
I was about to say that's basically the same thing. Like, and that's the thing. I don't even like, before anybody, because I know somebody might get on me for this. Like, I don't even hate Nisekoi. It's just, man, I might have to do a whole video on that. Or hell, maybe our next video is favorite couples or least favorite couples. But we're figuring it out. We're still not completely sure what we want to do next time.
Yeah.
But overall, let us know. This has been Foster
and Williamson.
And with the anime egotists, just remember, don't use the Dragon Balls on us. And if you disagree, you're wrong. Wrong. If you disagree, you're wrong. That's such a rude statement, but we're the anime egotists. You should be used to it by this point. Ciao.
You're watching Anime Egotists! And actually, I'm a better trainer than Brendan. Oh, come on, May. A little humility?